You're a mobility muggle, Harry, and a thumping good annoyed wager once you train up a little. You are a mobility muggle. You're not as flexible as one of the superstar fitness Instagram personalities like Ben Patrick, who can drop into the front splits so violently that his gooch claps the floor. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be stretching. You shouldn't be doing mobility work. Mobility work is extremely valuable, and this is something that I've really learned in my own fitness training, but also in what I've seen with clients. Before we go on, I should probably explain what mobility is. So I asked ChatGPT. Mobility training refers to a type of exercise or training that focuses on improving the range of motion, flexibility and movement patterns of the body. The goal of mobility training is to increase joint mobility, enhance movement efficiency and reduce the risk of injury. Great, we could all do with some of that. So that's in a nutshell what mobility is. When you see these mobility wizards online, you see the things they can do and you sort of think, well, I'm never going to be able to do the splits. That would take years. What's the point? I won't introduce this kind of work into my training. However, what's important is that you realize that just a little bit with mobility goes a very, very long way. And I've seen this multiple times with clients. It's not just about being able to touch your toes or being able to get a couch stretch with your shin flush to the wall. It's actually every little bit of flexibility that you gain in this lower end of the spectrum will incrementally improve your quality of life. So as your journey goes on, you're feeling better and better, which is a win-win. If you can't touch your toes and now you can, that's going to enhance your quality of life. You can tie your laces, you don't blow your back out when you sneeze, etc, etc. But being able to touch your toes to full forward fold pike, it's not going to make much difference in your day-to-day life, apart from maybe if you play an extremely specialist sport or you want to show off to your friends. So the point of this is we should be trying to get the low-hanging fruit for mobility because it will impact our lives. We will be more comfortable throughout the day. Well, obviously we all sit too much these days, so some of the strain of that sitting will be alleviated, which is great. Okay, so from my experience with my personal training clients, I've tried to distill what would be 4 low effort, high reward stretches or mobility movements that you can incorporate into your routine right now and see the benefits of. Most of my clients sit down for work or sit down too much, right? So many of these are positioned with that in mind. So the first one is the front foot elevated split squat. This is an old school personal training exercise, first brought to popularity, as far as I'm aware, by Charles Poliquin, popularized in the modern day by Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy, who is someone that we can all learn a lot from. This one is great because it's going to simultaneously strengthen the entire lower body, the knee, the ankles are going to get mobilized. But the main thing that it impacts for the sitting man or woman, the person who spends most of the time in the C shape, is it really opens up the hip flexors at the front of the body. If our hip flexors are in a shortened position all day, they start to set in that pattern and it can cause stiff lower backs, knee problems, and a whole host of other bodily problems. So opening up and lengthening the hip flexor whilst also strengthening it at the same time is gold for your body, and it will immediately make you feel better. I know for myself it alleviated years of back pain rather quickly, which was kind of annoying because had I known that, I wouldn't have had to, whinge to every single person who would have lent me their ear for 5 seconds about how my back hurt and XYZ. But anyway, another quick mention is whilst this front foot elevated split squat is a strength exercise, the couch stretch is its companion. These are absolute gold if you sit down and work all day. Introduce these in through the course of your day and watch your hips open up, watch your lower back pain float away and feel generally better. Okay, number 2 is going to be the elephant walk. Another great one for anyone who sits down at work because it's going to lengthen the back of the body. You're stretching out your hamstrings. You're going to get nice, juicy, mobile, flexible hamstrings. This is a great one. It can be done anywhere. It's going to stretch the entire posterior of the body, all of the fascia that runs down the back of your body, and it's easy to regress or progress. To regress it, just put your hands on a raised object, like so. To progress it, just work your way down to the floor with flat palms. Game changer, make sure you include this. It is one of the most important exercises in the mobility for muggles. You're a muggle, Harry. System. Okay, so the next one on the list is hanging. If you're not hanging at this point, you're just missing an amazing exercise. Hanging will traction the spine and take load off the spine. If you think our spine's being compressed all day, hanging's opening it up. It's building a grip so that you don't have a wet fish handshake, which who wants a wet fish handshake? It's stretching out the shoulders, opening them up, it's brachiating. The great apes, our ancestors, swung from trees, and there's many people that believe that brachiating and hanging from overhead is one of the best ways to alleviate shoulder problems in human beings. There's some famous physio from years ago that came up with this, that 5 minutes a day of hanging is all you need to fix 99% of the shoulder problems. Okay, and finally, the resting squat. The Asian squat, the ancestral squat, whatever you want to call it. Being able to sit in the squat position is a game changer for your hips, your lower back, your knees, your ankles. It's just such a fundamental human movement pattern. It's how we go to the toilet, yet we have, in the West, robbed ourselves of the ability to do this. And you know, it took me a while to build up to this, but the good news is it's relatively easy to build up to. You just need to elevate your feet, or use assistance, or get a slant board, or hold onto something, and you just sit and you just hold that position over time, and eventually you get better and better and better until you can do it. Now, the great Ido Portal, the movement specialist, has actually, recommended 30-day, I believe it is, squat and hanging challenges in the past, so you could look into that. Believe me, it is a game changer. The movement capacity and ability and comfortability that I see in my clients when they go from not being able to get anywhere near the bottom of a squat to being able to hold them up the squat is just a game changer. It's such a natural movement. It's so fundamental to us, yet many of us are nowhere near it. Even athletic people who come into the gym, even athletes, just can't get near it. You need to be able to do this. It's just a basic human bodily movement. Now, I'm not saying it needs to look like a perfect squat. It's okay if we're not using weight, if you have a little bit of a rounded bottom, if you have a little bit of a rounded, tucked under lumbar spine. Being able to squat is just so vital. So make sure you incorporate some of that training into your routine. But anyway, to cap this all off, I guess the main point of this video is, you don't need to be a mobility wizard to greatly benefit from this type of training. If you're looking to enhance your quality of life, if you're in your 30s and you're really feeling it, you don't feel like you move fluidly and well anymore because years and years and years of sitting have changed the shape of your body. Or even if you're in your 50s or 60s, whatever it is, you have time now. Start incorporating these movements into your day, start feeling better straight away, and then just watch the incremental improvements go over time. I promise you, you need less of this than you think. Anything is better than nothing. That was the point of this video. I hope it helps. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that.